Hi, we're CIP and we're really happy to be sponsoring the IOSH Staffordshire branch this year for their programme of events, and tonight's CPD, IPD event. We're construction industry publications, CIP for short, and we publish environmental and health and safety information, primarily for construction companies, but we cover a raft of industries. And again, we're really proud and looking forward to meeting all the members.
Here's some of our raffle prizes for tonight. They're good, even jobs advertised at the branch.
Good evening. Looking forward to a really good, interesting event this evening, and thanks very much for making the journey to come along. Hope you're all full of belly, and certainly there's plenty of food left if you want to mop up afterwards. My name is Eley, I'm the new Vice Chair of IOSH Staffordshire branch, and I'm very privileged and proud to present in front of you this evening, in part. Unfortunately, Mark is stuck down in Essex, a really nice place to be stuck in, I'm sure it is. So he can't turn up tonight, so he sends his apologies. He'll be here next month. But what we have tonight is a very interesting event of IPD and CPD. But before we start with that, of course, the normal parish notices of fire safety. We're not expecting any fire alarm. So, of course, if an alarm does start for any reason, please just go through out that door, and the quickest route is out through, not the revolving door, because it's not working, but the door to the left of it. So please follow me out there, should that be necessary. Toilets and facilities, hopefully you've been fed, as I say, and have a drink, but the toilets are behind us on both sides, ladies and gents, if you need the toilet. The phones, for phones, of course, if you need to take a call for the enjoyment and comfort of everybody else, please either have your phone on vibrate or off, or of course take the phone call outside. That way you can all be engaged and get the maximum out of the event. Feedback forms, they are forms that you have on your chairs, and we take great joy really in reading those, because we can make the very best use of what we do as a branch to provide the very best experience for you as members. That is our sole purpose, is to create a good environment for you to learn, to be able to network, and to be able to get together, so that we're all able to reduce the potential for people to be hurt. So the feedback forms are very important for us, because we use good, bad or indifferent feedback to make the branch better. And as a result, I'm absolutely sure, and there's lots of statistics and evidence out there to show we are the nation's best branch. And that's precisely because we've listened to member feedback, we've listened to some criticism, and we've tried to resolve that as far as we can. And as a result, we've put on some very engaging events that are required in the world of health and safety, but also because you folks have required it, because it's something that is needed. So please fill in the feedback forms. They are really, really important to us. They're a really good gauge of how we're doing as a committee and as a branch. And of course, we want to expand on that and be better and better month by month. So if you can fill those in, I can assure you that every single piece of feedback is listened to, critiqued, analysed, and provides better events for everybody concerned. So feedback forms are very important. Please return your badges afterwards. They are important to us. They have a cost. As much as you might like to show your family what your name is when you get home, I'm sure they probably know you much better than I do. So please leave them with us. We do like to have them back. It means we don't have to spend lots of needless money buying kit we don't need. So please give them back and give them to Michelle when we finish. If you want to use the internet, we do have the Wi-Fi connection here, so please make use of that whilst you're here. And tonight, and throughout the whole of this next year, we're very proud to be engaged in sponsorship with different organisations. I was talking about how wonderful our branch is and how really leading we are across all the other branches in the whole of IOSH. And this is actually one example of it. Mark James, our branch chair, I think as Michelle as well, came up with the idea of a sponsorship package. So we pushed that forward to IOSH, and they thought it was a great idea, and they worked on it, but ultimately the whole of IOSH are making use of sponsorship deals or opportunities with organisations as a result of good ideas found in this branch. So that's a really good example of how we are leading from the front as an IOSH branch. So we're very proud tonight to have Sarah, who's sitting there. Do you want to wave your arms, Sarah? There we are. Sarah, you might have spoken to her. She's from CIP, and very important that you're along this evening, Sarah. And thank you for coming along. I know you've been very kind in offering a raffle prize later on, which is very, very expensive and a great use. So whether you want the raffle prize or you want to get any help from CIP, please speak to Sarah and she'll help you along with your needs. So events happening for the next 12-14 months. We've got a good range of events. These have, as I said, been based upon the need for the most needy parts of health and safety, but also because our branch covers 19 industry sectors, we've gauged actual feedback from those members, well in fact all the members that gave feedback, and we've concentrated on, as I say, not only events that are about health and safety needs, but also what members require. So the next 12 months is built on those. So as you can see on the 21st of March, we've got this event tonight. We've got the mock peer review interview next month, which is a bolt-on really, and certainly connected to this branch. So if you like tonight, and you certainly want to know more, actually working towards chartered or not quite yet, it's a really, really good opportunity to come along. And again, as we are leading the industry, leading the IOSH branches, we've actually got IOSH HQ who are coming on, who are going to be filming that. So we should have something not only for the event, but actually for the IOSH network as a whole, and straight from IOSH Staffordshire here. 16th of May, we've got Dr. Karen McDonnell. She was the head of WASPA, who's coming along in May. So she's doing an event based on working height with ladders, I think, on that event. 20th of June, we've got Legionella. Remember one of our members here. We're very proud to have one of our members talk on Legionella. Play on words, demystifying risk. So I hope you can attend that event. July, occupational health monitoring, inside and out. That's a really important field, of course, with silica, with asbestosis, not to mention other occupational health issues. So that's going to be a good event. CDM and BIM in August, a risk assessment, back to basics. It's often an area, I'm sure, much like CPD and IPD, that is misunderstood. So hopefully we're going to give some clarification on that in September. Mental Health Thursday in October, little on mental health. Again, we're going to get some very high-level professionals coming on, giving us some really good support, since that's very much in vogue at the minute. November, managing contractors, a pain in the rams. Again, we've got sense of humour, so it's a play on words. But I'm sure if you have any workings with some contractors, you know that they are a pain in the rams. So we're going to try and help you along to solve some of those problems. December, we're very proud. Actually, if you came on to our Christmas event last year, we had a really good time. As a consequence of a lot of the work and the monies that we're creating in this branch, we're able to very much support the Christmas quiz and dinner at a very swanky place. So if you like James Bond, or you think you're the next James Bond or James Bond villain, you might want to come along dressed up with your plastic gun, or perhaps not plastic gun, but come along to that event anyway. You understand what I mean? Come along to that event, which is, I believe, going to be on the basis of a James Bond theme. Silica in January. Again, occupational health issue, really big problem. We need to try and have some clarification and support on that. And we've got Heather Beach, who's coming on the 20th of February, who's from the healthy, I can't remember. Big pardon? Yeah, she does a lot of work on healthy work stuff, healthy work company she's got. So she's going to be coming on in February. So I think she's going to be a very good speaker for us. A lot of content to bring to the event. A little bit on my area, media. If you haven't already, it's really important, particularly if you're an IOSH member, but you're actually connected to another branch. You do have an opportunity, should you want to move from another branch to IOSH Staffordshire, whether that be digitally, or actually by, of course, tonight coming on to the event. You can make contact with the membership team, and they can change you over from another branch. Perhaps you lived in London and you don't live there anymore. You're wondering why you're not getting the content you like. Or you can make contact with IOSH and you can be moved across. So very proud with 378 members that we routinely on a weekly basis communicate to with our event. So you don't even need to think about when the next event is. You'll get that email on a weekly basis. I run the LinkedIn page, which is now thankfully IOSH Staffordshire branch official. We were previously unofficial. Of course we weren't then given the commitment by IOSH, but we have been now. We've got 572 people and growing. That is a huge connection of networking people willing to share content, pose questions, and get together. So you can probably find me on there. Like this morning, I posted me and my dog and all things. But again, I was trying to advertise the event tonight. If you're not doing anything tonight, and you've got an Oxford tally and a double curry, perhaps certainly coming on to our branch. So every single opportunity I try, every single opportunity I have, I try to advertise it. So if you're on LinkedIn, you'll probably find a lot of work going on there. If you're a Twitterer or whatever the word is. We've got 294 people that are on Twitter, and Adam is in charge of that. Adam's going to speak to you about that and CPD and IPD in a moment. So there's loads of ways in which you can engage with us. And engaging, we're going to have, in fact, Michelle was.
Slido will be on
It's
there.
going to be on there.
Yeah.
Slido's going to be on here tonight. Is anybody not familiar with Slido? Okay. Slido is really an interactive question page, really. It's almost like a PowerPoint where you can pose your questions. So if you fancy doing that, you don't perhaps want to put your hand up, you can pose a question through Slido. So again, it's a new bit of tech, but it's really useful for events such as this. So you go onto slido.com, look for the hashtag, and immediately through your phone you get onto tonight's event. And you can pose questions, we can have voting and stuff like that going on. But it's a really good way that at the end of the week we can pull together all the questions and have it pretty much in one form, and it works very well for us. So please make use of that if you haven't used it before. And just before I hand over to the guys here that are going to present, I've spoken to Darren Benson tonight, who's thankfully here, who's a chartered fellow, and we were talking about how difficult it is to have the journey of working as a professional in health and safety, not to mention other entities, but certainly health and safety is very, very challenging from the moment we start off all the way up to where Darren's got to and is progressing through. And it's very challenging, and you think, well, sometimes you ask yourself, why should I bother? Other colleagues in work, I'm doing half the amount of work I'm doing, but I'm doing it, and it takes a lot of time and effort. Well, about 15 years ago when I was in the military, as a military band musician, I remember going to the students' mess. It's the student bandmasters' mess at Nella Hall, which is next door to the rugby football ground in Twickenham, if you know it. And it's a centre for military music. And I remember going and using the toilets, and in there they had lots of presentations from past bandmasters that have gone through the 3-year instructed training. And I remember seeing this, and I thought I'd just stop for a moment and read it. And for me, this absolutely encapsulates why we do what we do. I know President Roosevelt is credited with saying this in a speech, but looking back, it seems to refer to this guy, Aristoxenus of Trentum, who's a Greek philosopher, who's a musician as well. And for me, this absolutely exemplifies why we do what we do. So if you read it for a second, you can see that you get a lot of credit by going through hardship and pain and anguish, because you come out with a sense of pride, a sense of achievement. And this is absolutely what I use as one of my commandments, I suppose, for my professional journey. And I just offer it to you as something that might help you with yours. Certainly when people are criticising you and saying, well, why are you doing this? What the bloody hell's the point? You can be looking at that and be absolutely sure that you're doing the right thing. Because often those people that criticise are actually the very people who would not for a million years have a go, which is what that covers. So it's thousands of years old, but I think it's absolutely critical to tonight. So I hope you'll forgive me indulge to put that slide up. So moving on, and I'm going to stand away from my part now to the main event, and I'd like to invite Euan. Euan, I wonder if you can just put your hands together and welcome Euan and Adam. Thank you very much.
Evening all. I'm going to do it as a bit of a jump on that. I'm going to lead most of it for the CPD, and then Adam can jump in where necessary and kind of lead from there. Thank you, Chris, for doing for the instructions. So firstly, it's a bit about you don't know who I am. So I'm a health and safety consultant of the day. I'm a retained firefighter like the likes of Andy over there, 6 years, not 10 this year. And I'm a board of trustees for a local charity. Before we go into it, who finds the miss of CPD and who finds it hard to complete it? Just show hands, so just so where we are. Right, okay, that's fine. Anyone, you can pull on. It's quite simple. I think the aim of what I'm going to try and do is basically break it down and just make it very simple.
We want to be really interactive as well, so if you do have any questions, please stop us, we'll be happy to
So, what is CPD? Well, basically about you and understanding where your knowledge is at the moment and how you want to improve your own knowledge and actually how do you want to develop your own skills. And also, it's very much a reflective thing, and I'm not going to say I'm thunder, but the reflectiveness does definitely count for it in terms of your IPD and further as well, just reflecting on yourself. So, what is it and why do you have to do it? So, basically, open any category, you don't have to be a tech, grad, chartered, you can be affiliate. However, if you are above, you have to be a tech, a grad, or above, you have to do it, you must fill it in. And you're bound by the code of conduct as a member to complete at least some CPD every 6 months. Has anyone had the little niggle from IOSH every 6 months? That'd be why. So you've got to at least fill some in. The hours and the points don't exist anymore. It's literally, you just have to fill in some throughout those 6 months. But also, when you start as a new member, you will start as affiliate, and then you will then give the membership team an actual development plan. By the way, these are not my slides, they're IOSH slides. I'd love to get my own slides, but I'm bound by IOSH. Right.
Is anybody currently doing a development plan or recently done one or two? How did you find it? Pretty straightforward, or?
It's a bit legally, yeah, it's not structured very well. I don't think it is anyway. It's a lot of thought that needs to go into it. Maybe I'll look at it one.
Did you do your own, or was it kind of like the blueprint? How do you follow it? Do you mind me asking?
I think it's just on the blueprint of it. So
So the value of it. So it looks at the skills gaps as well. Look where we are and where we want to go. Whether that AC, you know, so in my day job I do a lot of construction. I do a lot of CDM stuff, but I don't necessarily do asbestos in depth. So that's something that I can look to work on. Also gives you credit as well. You know, it also creates that really good profession and impression to your peers as well as your employers as well. And it can be used as an appraisal tool. So if you want to go to your employer and go, you know what, I'm not that good in this area. Is there a bit of training? Is there a course we can go out to actually develop better?
No, that's absolutely everything really. It's there for you to maintain your confidence, and I'm asked this question every month when we have these events of what things can happen on CPD, and again we're here to try and bust all these myths. It's anything that you find you've benefited from. It's not something you've learned. It could be something you read on the internet. There's a wealth of things that people don't realise you can use a CPD.
So what's the benefits to you guys then? So promotes, it helps other professions as well, because I'm a member of the professional bodies and I have to do CPD, it helps reflect, but also into yourself, it gives it, creates your organisation. I'm competent, but I've got to maintain that competence, and the best way to do that is through your CPD reflections. I'm proving to my employer and to myself that I'm maintaining competency. I've got the skills and knowledge to do my job effectively. And again, Alan works in NHS and for a study funder, but again, maintaining competency at your level, and also I work for a lot of clients who, this competency is key and has value, but also helps other employees within your organisation, or if you consult out, to have that knowledge and understanding of what you can deliver, and also help you do your own achievements, because at the end of the day, it's your CPD, you own it, so whatever you want to get out of it, what you put in is what you get out of it. And it's not, not that hard to complete. And I think that's the biggest myth that I will try and bust tonight. You do not have to spend hours and hours doing it all the time. So, what is it? You don't have to use the blueprint. It's just you don't have to use it. I find it alien. It can be used. So literally, development plan is your job title, your job role. If you have responsibility within health and safety, fantastic. If you don't, state what your roles and responsibilities are and what your goals. Okay, it says 6 to 12 months, but you can have that 3 months, 6 to 12 months on a 2-year, 3-year. If you're really 5-year plan, but just give something to look at how you want to develop yourself. And then the biggest thing for me is your strengths and weaknesses. I don't really like the word weakness. I think I prefer the word development opportunities. So what strengths, what am I really good at, but also what do I need to develop on? So, what skills, but also this doesn't have to be solely health and safety. This is your wide skills as well. Who's a manager who manages teams or manages processes or programs? Exactly, there's a lot. So you can add that as part of your development plan. So just like any kind of appraisal or any other kind of goal setting you do in your personal, professional lives, again, you just got to review it. Is it still on purpose? Am I still going down the right track? Or do I need to tweak or change it? And as you said, you can use the blueprint tool. Who's used it in the room? Good, bad, different?
Okay.
Okay.
It can change depending on how good your day's going.
Yeah, exactly. I think beautifully, it can be quite clunky at times, and I don't know if any of you see it. Basically, it's like you get a screen, you can measure yourself against things, and whether you're good, and then it spits out a whole bit later. It basically gives you a kind of a graph, two comparing graphs, one of where I am now and where I want to be. But again, you don't have to use it. It's each their own. But it's a tool out there. If you want to use it, then go and use it. Give us feedback as well, because we're members of the branch, and we feedback into IOSH. It's got to work for members, and you're members. So if you want to feed that back to us, please do, and we can go back and see what we can think about.
On the system, how do you update your development plan? Do you just keep adding on the bottom of it? Or do you create it as a new?
That's what I tend to do. So you've got your open development plan, and then every 3 or 4 months I'll just go back into it and add another line underneath, saying this is an update from the last 3 months.
Yeah.
And again, the development plan is your development plan. So once you've done the headings there for a little bit about your responsibilities, etc., it's yours.
Yeah.
You need to show how you are going to develop yourself over the coming years. That's all it is. It's really straightforward. What I tend to do is, as I say, going every few months and just put another date in there saying you know, over the next 3 months I'd like to get a bit more knowledge on this subject, etc. And just keep updating and saying like that. Because what you've got then when you look back on it is an audit trail of look how I progressed from 5 years ago to now. That's exactly what it's your development plan.
You said you didn't need to use the blueprint. What's the alternative?
You can set it up. You can set your own. So you know, if goals of the year. So you know, you can set it up as your own as long as you're demonstrating those kind of key features within it. So you know, what am I? You know, what goals do I set myself? Where am I really strong in certain areas? Where do I need to develop? You can set it as you want. All you have to do is IOSH is you know on the development plan, just put you know please see attached development plan. And it's not again it says it's your view only. So what works for you may work for me, may not work for you. So it's very personal. But as long as you're kind of going through those key areas, as long as you're updating it, then it works for you. It can be anything. It can be Excel, it can be presentation. You can't get confused with blueprint and CPD. So blueprint is more of a self-assessment of yourself. It's going to give you areas to improve on, weaknesses, strengths, etc., etc. CPD and IOSH on the IOSH website is where you record your CPD. So just don't confuse those two things. You can do blueprint as well, and that can form part of your CPD, but they are separate things. So on my IOSH, this kind of thing, so these are the key areas. So within, you've got 3 key areas. So maintenance skills, unique professional skills, and transferable management skills. So maintenance skills is what am I doing every day in my day job? For example, I do a lot of senior site audits. So with that, I'll look at loads of my CPD, and that would be maintenance skills. What have I learned from it? What can I carry on through? What can I gain and use further? New professional, I think it speaks for itself really. What have I done that's new? What, you know, have I attended a course? Have I learned something? Like an example, you know, went to work all together, learned something new there. So that's a new skill for myself. And then what I've said in terms of who is a manager, who manages processes, is management skills. Because they are key within safety, because a lot of you will have either strategic plans or you'll have those 12-month plans for your organisations, and you have to persuade your management teams to own and adopt them. Yes, you'll own them, they've got to help deliver. So having these kind of key transferable management skills is also quite key, also very important. So, you know, what was completed, how we apply the knowledge, but basically the way I do it is, why did I do it? What was the reason I did it for? How has it helped me in my career, and what knowledge did I gain from it? Basically, that's how I personally do it, and that's how I fill mine. But again, as I keep saying, CPD is yours. As long as you keep to the core standards in IOSH, it really is your own. So, what did I get in complete activity? Why did I decide to do it or carry it out? And then the reflective statements. These, I think, are the biggest myth that we could lost tonight, and these are really simple. So, on your feedback forms, you have a page, and it's got basically what we just kind of reiterated again there. You could basically take a photograph of that tonight, and then you can put in that little reflective statement, I attended IOSH Staffordshire, please see attached, and you can attach it into it. And it's that simple, one statement. You do not need to spend hours and hours and statement after statement doing it. So, a couple of things about CPD. No longer a 3-year cycle. When you change grades or go to IPD, it is audited. CPD is audited. It can also be randomly audited as well. And that's just they want to see, you know, you actually are doing something you actually done. Alright, exactly. Points no longer count for CPD as well. They used to kind of points, but that's kind of now abolished. And the important thing is, they're not counted in hours anymore, it's just counted in, you've just got to be seen to be active and doing it. So anyone tonight can claim CPD for attending a branch. But also there's many others, so as I've already alluded to, you know, articles you've read, what you've gained out of it, you know, courses you've been on, seminars you've been on, things you're doing your job. There's a whole raft of CPD, or if you've gone to a management meeting and tried to manage skills, you have to persuade people using soft skills. It can be anything, you've just got to make sure that you reflect on the crowd. So,
you can also, on the previous slide where it's all the 3 categories there, you can use more than one of those in each of your CPD as well. So you may attend a lecture where, you know, on asbestos, so you know, you're updating your skills with something new. So you can have new, but then other parts of the lecture you could have already known. So you can have maintenance and new professional skills in the same piece of CPD as well. It doesn't just have to be one, you can do one also. Has that busted any myths for anybody in the room? Has anybody learned it from just that sort there?
Yes.
Okay, and that's really key, isn't it? So, you know, we're trying to say this is how simple it really is.
Can I just add as well that, as you say on there, points don't count. You can actually go to a meeting or an event that shows you're actually developing in your being, but you might not felt as if you've really gained anything from it. So you can still put it into your CPD, but just don't give it any scores next to it. but just still shows IOSH that you're active, so you can do that as well.
Again, I think it doesn't have to be health and safety related. Anyone's members of any of the professional bodies, engineers, things like that, again, you can reflect, they can cross-link as well, so you don't always have to fill up, if you're members of many, you can just do one and you can reflect over as well, but also, you know, if you're members of many myriads, but it doesn't have to be health and safety related. As long as you are progressing, as long as you're showing IOSH, you know, you're working towards that development plan, so it comes back to the development plan, am I doing things that are helping towards what I want to achieve? I think we'll do the question anyway.
Yeah, so just a quick show of hands. Who's done any CPD today? Okay. So for those who haven't, what do you think you're here?
I'm finished it.
CPD. So, you know, even if you attend all the events every year for IOSH Staffordshire branch, you know, that's a good amount of CPD. Because you're learning, even if you know about CPD, it's maintenance of your skills, isn't it? So you'll always be able to tick one of those 3 criteria for your CPD.
But also on the MyIOSH as well, you've got started and planned complete activities. So when you go through the dates, so it's always good if you want to put some planned stuff on there. That's still logging as the CPD. So you're planning to look good to go to an event in 6 months' time. As long as you've got a plan on it, that's the CPD still recorded. You don't have to don't have to cram everything in. At the end of the year, you're going to outpace everything. They allow you to kind of plan as you go through the year.
So if we intended to go to every IOSH, we know where they are and what they are, could we flash all that in the flash?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And there's nothing stopping you with the template on the back of your feedback forms, already putting that template in there as your CPD, and then simply going back in and updating it.
So for the events, we can request.
Is that confirmed though? How's that checked?
So again,
So if I say I'm attendant, how's that checked?
well, it's not extent to a level of trust, isn't it? Because it's kind of a new reflective statement, isn't it? So if they do audit it, you know, when you go through the auditing process or even randomly audit it, that's enough to prove that you haven't. There's no law or anything like that now. It's all dependent on what content you put in that CPD. Nobody can check that you've attended it.
But it is like I say, it's about personal development. It's about developing yourself. So you only could be kidding yourself like that.
Just wondering what process confirmation is of it.
There is a council.
You can take an attendant, but
I see what you mean, yeah.
There is a council part, so if you don't want to attend them, and again, this goes back to what I'm just saying in terms of, you know, you're at your own, so you don't want to keep yourself out there, so you can have to start doing events, things like that. There is no way for them to check. All they'll do is unless you're going to change grade, or they just decide to randomly do it, that's the only time they're going to want it. And all they want to see, and all they see on that is, are you doing something, are you constantly active? They can't actually see what you put in.
If you are planning to attend, it's a fault in putting that in
No,
there.
it's like courses and things like that you can do for those things. Yeah.
You are expected to put some comments in the notes as well, aren't you, about what you've learned? So that will kind of back up that theory, won't it?
Well, not technically, because what I've said already, when you actually open that, that statement box, and as Adam and I have said, there's the behind your effective statements. As long as you just write on that, and you can put in that box, I attended IOSH Staffordshire branch, on whenever, and I like my CPD, please see attached. They can open the attached, and it just makes it far quicker, because the thing is, it is time intensive, and I appreciate it is, and it is changing. We are going to your website and make more interactive.
Were you talking about the form? So if you fill the form in, is that what you mean?
When you open up
in the text
the maintenance of skills.
Yeah, so you could just put any branch event IOSH Staffordshire, but as you said, you could scan in the forms that you have, the templates, scan them in and pop them in there. As long as you've learned something, you're developing, that's all it's about.
So one thing I've been doing is I'm just doing my ITT. I've just done the HSD1 and the assessment 4 is to do CPD and IPD. And the one thing I learnt from that was you can do the CPD on your phone, but you can also copy and paste out your notes and then upload that into your CPD. So if you're out and about and you think, oh, we're on the way back from somewhere, just put into your notes what you've done, then you can actually copy and paste that up into your CPD. So and if you open up your CPD and you haven't got time to do it, if you just put a heading like, oh, I did some manual handling training today, well, it's not that, I ain't got time. Just go into your CPD, put that title as a start, and then set aside a half an hour at the end of the month. Think, oh yeah, I did that. You might have a ream of things you did, but you then can cherry pick the best ones, follow through with.
And you can also upload evidence as well, so you can put PowerPoint presentations on there, meeting minutes are a good one, certificates, things like that. And so it's a good way of doing it as well.
Tom, people find it time intensive, show your hands. Anyone find do you set aside time at the end of the month or something like that to do it, or is it just kind of when I've got 5 minutes to complete it? Is that okay? May I help? Yeah, there is an IOSH annual CPD planner that can be used, but again, I think the best one for me is set aside a bit of time. I appreciate we're all very, very busy individuals, but again, you know, it doesn't have to take, you know, that thing's not really true. You know, you take, you know, like tonight, you can just scan it in, that's 10 minutes. Don't know if you can understand that, but
it does have to be time consuming.
and then, as we said throughout, it's a reflection. So you've done, record it, and reflect upon it. And the reflect is quite important because I will kind of go into. Sorry, I keep stealing your thunder. But on the IPD, the reflective statement, and this is why they're there, because you have to build on it. It's a bit more complicated than we'll explain. Thank you all. So as class mentors, I are here most Thursdays and have to help anyone with their CPD and stuff like that. Give us a shout. And then also is the
Yeah, I think that's really important. You know, we're just going to briefly talk about IPD now, but there's a lot more to it than this presentation. So it's key that because you know you've got some really experienced members of this branch, and you know we're always there for you. We're on the end of an email, telephone. So you know if you're embarking on this process of initial professional development, you know just bear in mind your goals as well. IOSH are very good actually. The membership department will assign you a mentor, so we'll start on the initial professional development process. Check. So if you're starting it on the initial professional development process, you can speak to IOSH and they will actually give you a mentor, so an email address. What I didn't mind it was John Hughes, so it's quite handy. Oh, strange. I'll just talk to him, John. Yeah, so you know, just to say, if you ask any question on this, you've always got us to support with that. So, a bit about me. So I spent 10 years in the West Midlands Fire Service as a firefighter. Then I worked at Warburton's as health safety officer for 2 years, and now head of health safety for an NHS trust throughout the country. So for me, becoming a charter member was a personal goal. And when people say, you know, is it really important? And the reason I got my role is because I'm a charter member, and that was a mandatory part of my job application. So we're going to talk about initial professional development. Before that, there's two main ways of doing initial professional development, and it's dependent on the qualification that you've done to get to the graduate member stage. Okay, so there's a rule of thumb that if you've done a diploma, so an IOSH diploma, an NCRQ diploma, for example, you'll do something called a skills development portfolio in your initial professional development. If you've done an NVQ-based qualification, you'll then go on to do something called an electronic open assessment. What I was trying to do by doing this is when you're working your way from graduate to chartered, and it's the way that they assess you of being an all-round competent person. Okay, so your diploma is very much technical based, isn't it? That's figures, etc. Whereas an MVQ is very much doing the do, getting the evidence behind as well. Okay, so stands a good reason why if you've done a diploma, you'll do a skills development portfolio, which is within the MVQ pretty much. We'll look at that in a little bit more detail. And if you've done the MVQ, you'll then do a open assessment, which is very much a diploma type 700-word answer question. So there's two of those. So to set out on the initial professional development journey, you'll need to register. So you'll do that by calling for an IOSH with the number there, and it's £160 to register on the IPD process. So once you've registered for it, they'll send you out a really good information pack with all the details that you need to do either your skills development portfolio or your open assessment. I found that really useful actually. It's got everything in there that you need to work through. So I did the skills development portfolio, so I'm not an expert on the open assessment, so if there's any questions on that, I'm going to be looking on the route. So you have up to 2 years to complete it from the date that you register with IOSH. As it says there, you'll do the SDP or the open assessment. So that's the two first phases you'll do. You'll either do the skills development portfolio or the open assessment. Once you've completed those, and I will go into more detail, once you've completed those, you'll have a CPD audit. So IOSH will tell you that they're going to audit your CPD. So exactly what Euan just been talking about, it's really important. CPD is a really, really important part of your professional development.
Can I add to that? When they do the CPD audit for the charter, it's a bit different, it's very rigorous, and they send you a statement basically which area. So if you pass and they're happy with the CPD, they did fantastic, and they will give feedback on that.
So as I've said, the process that you take, whether you do the skills development portfolio or the open assessment, totally depends on the route. Now, sometimes, I think it's quite rare, and any of the IOSH panel members, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's rare but some people sometimes have to do the open assessment and the skills development portfolio. There are times when that does happen, but as I say, it's very, very rare. So that's potentially if you've come from a totally different industry, for example, into it. We've worked in environments, etc., etc. But like I say, it's very, very rare, and I don't know anybody that's had to do both of them.
Sometimes with international people as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If it's recognised.
And I think people with certain degrees as well, which may not be fully linked to health and safety, You know, because you haven't got that technical qualification, they get you to do that. So, why become a chartered member? And I think for a lot of people it's just a personal, you know, aspiration, something that, you know, you aspire to do. It's, you know, recognised globally. You know, it can open up career paths for you, more senior roles, more informational roles. I think really what it does is it tells your employer that you've been peer assessed and you continually being peer assessed as well. And I think that's a really good you know, thing for an employer to have and for you to have as well. I mean, for me, it was a personal goal. That's what I wanted to do. So yeah, there are so many benefits for it. And as I say, for me, I wouldn't have my job without being chartered because that was part of the job application. So very important. So we're going to look at the skills development portfolio now, which is for the people that will have done the diploma route. Okay. So as I said before, it's very much a mini MVQ. When you get your pack, you'll look at it and think, what am I doing? Wow, there's a lot to this. But you know what? It's actually really, really straightforward. You put it into small chunks, so it's very, very, very manageable.
The reason it's so big is because to get chartered, it allows so many different routes in. So the reason is, you know, at the beginning it's big because, you know, you can do something specifically within different industries, so it allows basically the best possibility to be refreshing to become chartered.
Yeah. So it's an evidence-based system that, as I say, very much like the MVQ. It's all done online, so you can upload your evidence to it, etc. And you access it via MyIOSH as well, the same as your CPD. So there are, attached to the skills development portfolio, there are 5 elements to it. Okay. And I'll just quickly run through them, and these aren't, you know, don't quote on these because they can change over time, but these are the ones that are. So the first element was around promoting a safety culture within a business. Okay. The second one is around policies and procedures and how you implement data management procedures. The third one was communication systems around health and safety. The fourth one is around assessing risks. We do that all the time. And the fifth one is managing health and safety risks. Okay. So each element is then broken into criteria. Okay. So you'll have a headline of an element, and then you'll have 5 or 6 criteria under that element. And on the first three elements, you've only got one each. So from element 1 to 3, you'll have to do 3 pieces of evidence basically. Element 4 and 5, you have to do 2. So in total, you're doing 7 pieces of work, 7 different pieces of work. Now, when you initially log onto the system, you have to choose all 7 of the criteria that you want to select. You can change your mind over time as well, and I'll do the same thing. You might click on one and submit it and say that's the one I want to do, and then get a lot of I ain't got enough evidence, all that. So you can just deselect it and click another one. And there's another slide. There's a bit backwards the slides are, so I do apologise. And it does show the elements a bit better as well.
Andy, can you use historical evidence?
You can, up to 2 years, yeah. You can use anything up to 2 years. So before you plan on doing this, just start collecting your evidence. And when I was working at Walton's, I was quite conscious of putting stuff on the hard drive, emails, minutes of meetings and things like that. Even attendance lists for evidence, cost assessment. There's loads of things that you can use as evidence. Very much like your CPD as well.
And also just to evidence, if your mentor, because when you're assigned, if you work in a, like, let's say the military or kind of the nuclear environment or high hazard industries, they set a mentor to yourself, very large in fact as well. But also, they don't share. It's very much that data protection is very, very much key, but also sharing stuff. But again, you will the point from because you'll get a mentor to align to your industry.
So yeah, it goes back to 2 years that you registered. So that's what it looks like today. So that's the 5 elements, and then you can see the performance criteria, which generally there's 5 or 6. So on your first 1, 2, and 3, you'll have to pick one of these. You can pick any one, and again you can change them all through. It doesn't matter. And then number 4 and 5, you have to pick 2 of each, 2 and 4 in total from the bottom for the 2 elements. So again, one of the things that I did, and I'm glad I did it, is I could have scattered them all. I could have started them all and started putting evidence in, but I decided to just focus on one. I just focused on element 1, nailed it, and sent it off. Because the beauty of this is you'll have somebody from IOSH will assess it, and then they'll give you feedback saying, well, you need to put a bit more evidence in here. So it's really, really useful. And then once you've done one, you know the process, you understand it better. Especially the reflective side. The first one I got sent straight back and saying refer, because I just hadn't structured it properly, because I hadn't read the guidance, which it's all there. I just read it quite quickly. So it's important, and I think that's the best way. Just doing one element at a time in manageable chunks. Right.
Is that available somewhere to see without registering?
So folks, this is one of our new initiatives this month, so Judith, is that okay? Speaking into the phone.
Oh, no.
Yeah. We can chuck the cube round.
I've been unsuccessful on that.
Yeah. As long as somebody's expecting their cube to come their way, you can chuck somebody in. Everybody can hear what everybody's saying, and it's all important. So please do start the ball rolling, or cube.
Hey, you. Hey, like it.
Yeah.
What I said was, is that form available somewhere without having to register, so I can have a look at it before I commit to paying £160 and registering it every 2 years.
I'm pretty confident that I spoke to IOSH before I actually registered in the centre. I'm pretty sure they do something like that. Yeah. Like I say, when you do register, you'll get all of this information in a booklet and guidance. There's all the questions about it. Oh. Okay, so yeah, that's the basic structure of it. So each criterion is an outline and a summary. That's pretty much a paragraph. This is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it. An activity log, and again, that's really straightforward. Some of them are just a couple of words. It's really, really not that in-depth. So you'll have, for example, you'll have a description, you'll have the date you did it, you'll have the outcome, and then you'll have an area where you can upload your evidence. Yeah, no problem.
Euan, can you use that cube, please? I can't hear you.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Better? Okay.
I just wanted to ask Adam, I'm starting this process now, and I really thought that you had to, like many other forms of portfolio, to submit everything at the end of the process. So you're saying that you literally do one, send off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's
And I think that's a really key point. Yeah, you can start them all at the same time, nothing stopping you. But for me, I wanted to get one done, nailed it and got it right, got it assessed, so I know where all going now, what's going wrong if you got rejected. So
you can do one.
You can one at a time, and you can also within the elements, within the criteria, you can change that throughout the process. So you're not stuck with one if you think you've clicked one and that's the one you've got to do. And you think, oh, I can't get enough evidence for this. You can change at any point.
That's been really good for me because I really thought you had to do it all in. I did one for environment health. I had to submit everything 25 pieces at the end of the qualification. So for me that's really good. I can do it in bite-sized chunks and see how I'm progressing as I go on.
But what I was trying to say, sorry, is basically this is why you to get into the habit when you're a CPD, when you do CPD before you go through IPD, is to have that kind of process already not nailed as such, but having that get in the habit of statements, reflective statements, because this is why it is important to kind of adopt that. So when you go into the transition of the actual forms, you actually kind of know what you're trying to comply with.
Are there standard templates for submitting?
So the template is the actual My IPD. There's a template there. So it's
is it?
Yeah, it's got all of this on there. So it's literally a text box, a bit like a CPD, and it will say when you click on this on your activity log, it will say description, dates, and everything like that. But it's literally a sentence in each of those. So when you look at it, it looks like a lot, but when you actually delve deeper into it, the key is the evidence and the reflective statement. Those are the two things that are key to the whole process, really. The reflective statement, as it says there, your indexed evidence. So each element will tell you how many pieces of evidence you need for each one. So, for example, you may have one where you've delivered a safety presentation and it wants 4 pieces of evidence. So you've just got to get thinking about what could I use for that. And as I say, it's absolutely anything. So, it's an email to my boss saying that I'm planning on doing this. It's a draft presentation. Then it's a minutes or an attendance log. And then it's an email after saying, to my boss, maybe because he can have a bit of feedback. 4 pieces of evidence straight away. So, when you look at the evidence, don't get too worried about it. You can use some fairly simple pieces of it. Emails are brilliant. Email trials are absolutely fantastic. Most of them are email trials. So
can you repeat?
Say again.
So you can repeat. So you just repeat it.
Yeah.
So as if mock presentation, email. Can you continue to do things like that?
As long as it's linked evidence to that and it's proven in different phase of the activity, like, yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just start as well? I think most of us get monthly magazines from associations. If you read an article in a monthly magazine, you think, oh, I wasn't aware of that, or it's a new regulation, or something like that, you really well. And obviously, you can extract that page with a photographic snapshot and put that up, because again, it's professional development, it's personal development. So anything like magazines that you read are brilliant as well.
But I think throughout when you were planning evidence, the key for me was how good the IOSH assessors were. Some really good feedback that they do give you. And then probably the most important part of the whole skills development portfolio are the reflective accounts. Because it's very similar to a CPD reflective account, and saying, why have you done it, what did you get from it, and what do you do for the next time. And as I say, in the guidance that you get, there's a structured one in there for you to kind of use to adapt it to yourself. So, and that's what I say, if you want one element and get it approved, you know you're on the right tracks, especially with your reflective account. It's really, really important. And as it says there, you can submit the criteria individually. And I think that's probably the best way to do, just to do one, get one done, and then focus on another. That doesn't mean that, you know, you can think about the next ones that you're going to do and start collecting evidence for them. You know, that's probably the best thing to do as well. You know. It says there 2 to 3 weeks for assessment. I've had criteria back within 2 days, but some took 2 weeks. So yeah, it's very usually 2 to 3 weeks. Any questions on the skill development portfolio? Now it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, and as I said before I started, you know, me and you and Maria, you can show examples and things like that. Just please use us. Please get in touch with IOSH membership as well if you're about to embark on the process.
Me again, Adam, from UQ. One of the things I was going to say, I just literally started this off, but one of the things I've done to try and make it simple and stupid as possible is that sheet that you've got there. When you look through the guidance, it says you've got to do 2 of this, 3 of that, 4 the other, whatever. And I've used this as my absolute crib sheet for the journey through IPD for me anyway. And so on that sheet there where you see the red headings, I've looked through and I've seen, as I said, the numbers of those you have to do. And I've literally put a wide bracket to encapsulate even every single one of these sectors. Therefore, I'm identifying to myself, nobody else, but to myself, how many of those I've got to do. So immediately when you're starting off, you're making it as simple as possible. For me, that's been really useful. So I just need to look at one sheet, have I got what I need, how many do I need to get, and you go from there.
That's it, and as I said, if element 1, element 2 and element 3, you only have to do one of these criteria for each of them. So you've only got 3 pieces away from the first 2 elements, each of your last 2, where you have to do 2 criteria for each one. And it's 7, so it's 7 in total. Yeah. So just remember that, you know, 1 for the first 3 and 2 for the next 2. Any other questions about it? Yeah.
Does this process get reviewed? Is it due for review? Something like Chris did, you chatting to Environment Health?
No, I did.
Yeah, see that one, they changed the process. So at one point it had to be 40 interventions, and then they dropped it to 25 and it's constantly going under review. Is this due review at any time, or if I embark on the IPD, I'll be sat on that one for the 2 years? And
I would imagine if you've embarked, that's what you're going to do.
2 years.
Yeah.
It's not just review or anything like that.
Absolutely. Whether I should go to review the process, I don't know. I'm not aware of that, but I think when you register, that's what you begin.
I think another thing to consider is something that was, again, revelation is you think, oh my God, I've got 2 years. At the end of those 2 years, if you should continue, you've just got to pay another 160 quid. I know it's not the end of the world, but at the same time, it's a lot of money. But if you do by work or family issues, you have to extend, you just pay another 160 quid, and off you go, you've got another 2 years. So don't be worried about the 2-year period restricting what you can do. You can just continue, it's just a financial element.
But again, you can, you've got 2 years, you can backdate, and you think that amount of stuff, even I've got for 2 years, I've got loads, so you can, it's always good to store stuff somewhere, so you can literally
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different, and you know, I was quite strict on myself with this, and from start to finish, it took me 3 months to do the whole SDP because I was very strict with my time. I would set an hour aside every night to just do a little bit. So you can do it as fast or as slow as you want, as long as you're doing the 2 years. Yeah.
Andy, I'm assuming that you would need to already have your MVQ5 or the diploma.
Yes. So you'll to start the initial professional development process, you'll need to be a graduate member.
Right.
Okay. So, and that's what I was saying about to become a graduate member is important what qualification you take. So if you've done a diploma to become a graduate member, you'll do the skills development profile. If you've done an MVQ, you'll do the open assessment. So that's the importance of that membership and how you've got to that membership.
So you can't do the other way around.
Yeah, I think it's quite good though. You can see what IOSH are doing. They're trying to assess you on both elements, on the technical ability. I mean, as you can see, that's for those who've done an MVQ. That is pretty much many MVQs, isn't it? Yeah. It's workplace, it's evidence related, and reflective state. So that's absolutely brilliant. Any more on skills development portfolio? Fantastic. So, next one, electronic open assessment. Okay. So these are the people who've done, obviously, as we say, the MVQ. So it runs every month. It's all online system, apart from April, June, and December. You get a 14-day exam period given to you, and obviously you'll know this when you register. And during those 14 days, you'll have 7 days to complete Part A and Part B of the open assessment, which will come. So the 2 parts, as we say, Part A is just a 48 multiple choice question. It's all marked online. You've got 3 hours to complete it, and you'll get the results there and then, so you'll know straight away whether you've passed or you've failed. Then it goes into Part B, once you've passed Part A, which is, as I said, it's very much a diploma type of questions. Okay, you've got 700 words for each question to answer it, and there's 2 scenario-based questions, and that's marked by an IOSH examiner as well.
So it's kind of your mini diploma, does that say?
Yeah.
Mini MVQ.
Yeah, they complement each other. Yeah. So if you pass Part A, obviously, you know you can go up to doing Part B. If you fail Part A, you've got to register again and do Part A again. If you fail part B, you've got to re-register, but you don't have to retake part A. And it costs £95 to re-register, and you've got a maximum of 4 attempts. If somebody's asked a question, what happens after the 4? I don't know. I don't know anybody who's got to the 4 and not done it, so I couldn't tell you what happens. I would imagine you just have to speak to IOSH and see what your options are. But as I say, I don't know anybody who's failed.
I'll let that
Yeah, it's anybody. After the 4 attempts.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it, yeah.